Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Beware of people or organisms that or who were abused, because once they get the upper hand, they will have no mercy. Contrary with people who try to say no, if I was abused in the past, I will be more tolerant because I know how it is to be abused. The psychological research suggests otherwise, and that is, the more you were abused in the past, the more you will abuse when you get the upper hand. So, we have here Maduro, who is the president-elect, if I remember correctly, of Venezuela. If you ask him, he probably says, yes, I was very much abused by Al Capone, which is, you know who that is. But now it seems like Mr. Nicolas Maduro has a little bit of light shining ahead of himself, which will help him hit back at Al Capone, and he will be merciless. So let me show you what he did. Mr. Nicolas Maduro, the president of Venezuela, visits China, and he meets Xi Jinping, all smiles. And he's gonna take on a weasel reporter, and I'm gonna show you how he takes on that weasel reporter. And I think he's entitled to do that because I think he's right, to a certain extent. All right, let's see. Russia Today, 14th of September, 2023. English language booted, kicked out, from press conference in China. Venezuela's Nicolas Maduro told a reporter to speak Mandarin, declaring, and I'm quoting, "It's a new world." End quote. What do you think he's referring to as new world? The multipolar world. Diversity is our strength. We love diversity. Not in politics, it seems like. In the United States, we have two parties, and they tell us that diversity is our strength. Two parties with the same owner doesn't sound to me very, powerful and a lot of strength. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro brushed off a question asked in English at the end of his visit at Beijing, telling the reporter to speak Chinese instead. Why not? And I'm quoting, speak Mandarin. There's no English interpreter. End quote. Maduro cut off a reporter from Hong Kong, and I'm quoting, "It's a new world." Well, actually, not official, English is the international language. Whenever the French tried, the German tried, whenever they thought they had the hegemony and they felt important. Now we have a Venezuelan with a Chinese in China. Ask the question in Spanish or in Mandarin. And he didn't do that just because he felt so patriotic. But it's a little kick in the teeth towards Al Capone. That's all. Now you can say, well, it's a cheap shot. Could be. But remember, Venezuela and Maduro consider themselves as victims of Al Capone. And I think Venezuela has a big mass of natural resources called oil. All right, let's see what else these guys are saying here. Now, the exchange was captured on video, and I will put it to you, I will play it to you, and quickly made rounds on social media. And I'm quoting, "We are in the 21st century, the country of the end of hegemonism and imperialism, the century in which a different, multipolar, and multicentric world was born for peace and unity." Ooh. Okay. Maduro said at the press conference, according to Venezuela broadcaster Telesur, the Venezuelan president was wrapping up his 6-day visit to China aimed at improving the quote-unquote strategic partnership, end quote, between the two countries. What do you mean strategic? We have a strategy, we have a plan for the future. On Wednesday, he met the Chinese President Xi Jinping and signed over 30 working documents ranging from train to energy cooperation. Remember, Xi Jinping did not show up at G20, but he's with Maduro. What does it tell you? It tells you he doesn't really care about G20. So let's see if we have these guys live.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I'm journalist from Hong Kong Phoenix TV. So my question is, you have mentioned...
没有翻译。
¿Habla mandarín?
Yeah.
Porque no hay traducción del inglés.
El
nuevo mundo.
And he knew, the weasel knew how to speak Mandarin. He chose English. Because he was like, let's see again. What the fuck? Oh, why not that one here? Not you, baby doll.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. I'm journalist from Hong Kong Phoenix TV. So my question is, you have mentioned...
没有翻译。
¿Habla mandarín?
Yeah.
Porque no hay traducción del inglés.
Chinese?
El nuevo mundo.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know, motherfucker, what's going on here. So anyway, my friends, Maduro, good or bad, he's got balls. And now he is on the wave, on top of the wave, surfing. Ooh, I want it, baby doll, see me coming, crashing. I don't think so. Because you're going to have the Chinese, you're going to have the Russians. Listen, I'm not celebrating this, but how can you put pressure on the Al Capone, but with this? Otherwise, Al Capone will get worse and worse and worse. He needs to be opposed. By being opposed, it's an alternative. And having an alternative, people can choose. Remember, if there would be Nike or only Adidas, these guys can, have monopoly of the market. They can do whatever they want. And they can overprice their products as much as they want. And you can't do anything because you need the shoe. You need that shoe. So the same here. If you have only Al Capone, do you think Al Capone will be benevolent? And it's going to be the Pax Americana all of a sudden? No, it's not going to be Pax Americana. Pax Americana is not for you and I. Pax Americana is for those guys to make sure that we shut the fuck up, go in the basement, produce, consume, watch stupid TV, and keep our mouth shut. That's all they need to do. Happy consumers and quiet. Happy and quiet consumers. And they're doing their little hanky-panky, and then they decide how we live. I don't want that. If you want that, that's fine. Go in a basement right now. I don't want to do that. But hey, by the way, when it's time to vote, please stay there because you don't know shit. All right? And if you know something, impress me. I'm not very easily impressed, by the way. Why? Because when you see things and you go around the block a few times, you kind of know who's who, what's what. You know what people in general can do, what they can say, their quality. So you need to impress me with something I haven't done or I haven't seen. And if I see that you are trying to impress me with some garbage that I've seen all over the place, that's average, not impressed. Do something that I haven't done or I haven't seen. There's, oh man, I got it. Okay, that's fantastic over there. All right, good luck with that one. I've been around the block a few times, so good luck. Maybe you will have the capability. But the same here. Don't let Al Capone be the only option. Regardless if Al Capone says it's good or bad, only one option is not good. It's not good. Why? We're human, my friends. We're human. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, maybe with time and with wisdom, because you're going to realize what it means. We have ups and downs, and we have limitations in the ups and downs. And we are very much inclined to hit our lows, not the highs. That's why the civilization have a cycle. I think it's 8 points. You go around and you come back. You grow, so you make a revolution. You do whatever you said you did, then you become lazy and fat, then your children become lazy and fat and spoiled, and they will overthrow you and destroy the whole thing, and then another revolution starts. That's the cycle in a nutshell. We are, as Americans, they are. We come from a different, we're not at that point. We weren't. We were anyway. So these guys are at the point where they're fat, they're spoiled, entitled, and very tolerant. Why? Because they didn't produce the wealth. Their ancestors, their forefathers produced the wealth. So they feel very generous with someone else's wealth and sweat. That's what it is. That's why when you see this tolerant, usually they're rich, How is that possible? Not by themselves. And if they're rich, look behind the curtain a little bit and see how they got rich and who was rich behind them. And besides, they say, oh, we should be tolerant down here, but not here. It's a big, how should I put it? Like a wall. They build that wall. They want tolerance here, but no tolerance there. You can't cross that wall. You cross it only when you have money and you start connection and you have generations. Generational wealth. That matters a lot. Not one guy who gets rich and then the next generation fucks up his wealth or whatever he's got. No, that's not. Generational wealth that stays there and grows and grows. They form connections. That's when you say elite. Zuckerberg is not an elite. What's his name? Musk. Elon Musk is not an elite. You got Bezos is not an elite. These guys are not elite. Why? Because they're the first guys. And they could be just like this with a court order, warrant. So there are other elites that we don't hear about that have maybe tens of hundreds of years in the business staying as elite. Those are the elites. I'm talking about, let's say, the British Crown. That's one of the elites. You can look at some families in the banking system. Those are elites. Not the ones that are right now just popping up and then they go after one generation. Those are not elites. Useful idiots. That's what they are. Trying to make a life. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.